So, a warm welcome to everybody here today. Lovely to be here with you all. Um, yeah, I was just saying to one of the people in the studio today that I thought what we do over the last couple of weeks is just revisit some practices I know that people are familiar with or ones that people like, and just kind of give us a little bit of an opportunity just to refresh some of that stuff and just kind of, just relook at it. Also, I'm obviously recording these and I'm going to share the recordings with everyone, so you'll have them all to be able to practice as well. We're actually going to start off this morning's practice in a slightly different way to the way that we would normally do it. We're actually going to start off in a standing position because we're going to do the earth sequence, which is a sequence that I know some of you know, some of you might not know at all, or might remember as we start to do it. But what I'm going to suggest is rather than standing towards the thin edge of your mat, turn so you're facing along the long edge of your mat, and then you'll have a bit more arm and leg space when we get to it. So it's a pretty easy sequence. What I would say is if you are feeling really fatigued today or you're feeling low of energy, you can do this actually sitting in a chair. So if you do want to sit down at any point or even sit on the floor and just do the arm movements, you are more than welcome to as well. So we're going to start off with our feet hip distance apart. And just taking a few moments just to kind of let yourself just sort of settle into that position, feeling into your feet. And then from the feet, just feeling up into the legs. You might want to bend your knees a little bit just to sort of activate the feeling in your legs. You might find being quite straight and being quite upright with your legs feels the right thing to do. And then just turning your attention to this sort of mid pelvic or this lower, pelvic area, and just sort of just moving it around a little bit. So you might want to draw the navel towards the back of the body. You might want to do a few little sort of circles around, a little tuck and tilt of the pelvis. Sometimes it can almost help to maybe bring a hand on the front and a hand on the back and just feel the pelvis just sort of moving in all the different ways that the pelvis is able to move in this standing position. And then letting the pelvis find some stillness, and then we're going to move more through to the mid and the upper part of the body. So again, just some subtle movements, maybe just a little bit of movement through the shoulders. Maybe think about circling the mid and the upper ribs around a little bit. So you're just sort of circling, just bringing a little bit of movement activity into that area. And let that sort of upper part of the torso find some stillness. And let's just bring a little bit of movement into the hands. So bringing the hands into gentle fists and then just releasing and stretching the fingers away. So we'll just do that a few times. Just bringing the hands into fists and gently stretching the fingers away. And then just have a little sort of floppy swing of the arms, just a little sort of shake the arms, shake the wrists, shake the shoulders. Maybe there's a sigh or a yawn that happens as you do that. Just kind of loosening up that area. And then the last thing we're going to do is just a little bit of head movement. So I want you to just turn your head, doesn't matter what way you turn it, look over one shoulder, come back to the center, look over the other shoulder, come back to the center, look over the first shoulder again. So just going to repeat that a few times, turning the head side to side. So just for those that are in the studio, if you do find it gets a bit hot, feel free to turn the rads down a bit if you're near one. Hot already. And then we're going to change the side to side movement and do an up and down movement. So looking up to the ceiling, looking down to the earth. So just moving up and down, moving through the head, moving through the jaw. And then if it feels okay, maybe just a couple of circles around of the head. So you're just sort of circling the head round in whatever way you can do. Doesn't matter if you do a half circle or a full circle, or sometimes when we're doing those circles, there can be bits that just feel like there's a little bit of stuckness or tightness. Brilliant. And then come back to our center point. So I want you to stand from your feet all the way up through to the crown of your head. So imagine the lower part of your body is almost being drawn into the earth, but the top part of your body is being drawn up towards the sky. So what can happen sometimes here is we jut the chin out a little bit. So maybe just tuck the chin in just a touch. So your gaze is horizon or slightly down of the horizon. And then what I'd like you to do is just begin to feel the breath. So you haven't got to force the breath, you haven't got to breathe in any different way. Just exploring how the breath feels in this moment, standing tall. And we're going to begin to start to move into the earth sequence, which some of you will know is a movement and breathing practice that coordinates similar arm movements, similar leg movements, but is very much to be done with the kind of flow of your breath. So it might be as we go through this practice, your breath might change, it might get longer, it might get shorter, your breath might feel different. So I want you to just respond to how your breath is. So we're going to start off by bringing our hands into a really simple little interlace. So you just interlace the fingers and touch the thumbs together. So it's like a little basket that you're making with your hands. And then for the first few rounds, we're just going to get used to moving the arms and the breath as a coordination together. So as you inhale, you're going to draw your hands up in the direction of the crown of your head. At the crown of your head, you're going to turn the hands down, and as you exhale, breathe down towards the earth. Turn the little basket up, and we're going to inhale as we come up to the crown again. Turn the basket down and breathe down to the earth. So we're going to do this a few times. So if you're feeling again fatigued, you might just move between the throat center and the navel. If you're able to take the arms to their full extent, so you might want to take them all the way up past the head. And as you're pushing them down with the exhalation, they're almost going down to where the pelvis is. So a few more breaths in this way. Just exploring this movement, getting used to this kind of idea of the flow of the arms and the flow of the breath. Again, keeping that soft gaze, a sense of softness through the rest of the body. You might even again want to just slightly bend the knees, soften the glutes. Let the movement of the arms become a little bit more flowy with the breath. It's almost like you're sort of painting a pattern with the arms and the breath. So then with this earth sequence, we start to introduce some movement of the legs. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to inhale as we breathe up to the crown. As we exhale, we're slightly going to bend the knees. So we're coming into a little squat and we bring the breath down to the earth. We turn the hands up again as we inhale up towards the ceiling. And then we exhale, separate the arms and stretch them all the way around the body. So we inhale up to the crown. Exhale, lightly bend the knees and push the breath down. Turn the hands up as you inhale, draw the hands up to the ceiling again. And exhale as you release. I just realised I've done that sequence wrong. I should know it better than anyone. I'll show you how it goes. Inhale up to the ground. Exhale, bend the knees and push the breath down to the earth. You turn the hands away from you and you inhale, send them up to the ceiling. That's it. And exhale. Been doing it for 15 years. You'd think I'd remember it by now, wouldn't you? Inhale up to the ground. Exhale, bend the knees and push the breath to the earth. Turn the palms away as you inhale, reach up to the sky. You might want to look up at that point and exhale, separate the hands. Let's do that a couple more times. And this forms the sequence that happens with the arms pretty much through the whole of this sequence. So the reason that Earth sequence, I find personally it's really useful, is it is that combination of the breath, of the movement, it's the repetition. Our minds really like repetition. But also it's that activity, but also calming of the nervous system at the same time. So we're trying to balance our breaths as much as possible. So if you notice the in-breath getting stronger than the out-breath, just maybe tailor a little bit to what you may need today or what feels right for you. So the next couple of breaths that we do, we're going to sink a little bit deeper into our knees. So coming into a deeper squat, going closer to the earth. Inhale as you turn the hands up to the ceiling. Exhale as you reach out. So we'll do that a couple more times. This earth sequence was originally kind of made famous by yoga practitioners who were called Drew Yoga, but I think it's kind of history is probably in some form of Tai Chi or Qigong or something like that because of the movement, because of the breath. So you can kind of understand where a lot of these practices sort of interlaced with other practices, where the influence is. Okay, so just taking a moment here, just come into stand, connecting with how you feel in terms of your breath, in terms of your body, letting the arms rest a little bit, the shoulders relax. And then what we're going to do is step our feet wider. So we're going to step our feet out, so roughly about a leg's distance apart. And then we're all going to do the same side. So I want you to find your right leg, and you're going to turn your right leg so it's facing towards the thin edge of your mat. So you might find here you need to do a slight shift with the back leg to be able to turn to face towards that right side. So what we're going to do here, hands come back into that interlace. The movement of the arms is pretty much the same, but we do a knee bend as well. So we inhale as you draw the hands up to the crown. As we exhale, we're going to bend our front knee and push the breath down towards the earth. As we inhale, we're going to follow the arms up to the ceiling, straighten our front leg. And as we exhale, separate the arms and reach them down to our sides. So we inhale up to the crown again. We bend that front knee and push the breath away at chest height. Inhale, draw yourself up to the ceiling, reach up to the side, straightening that front leg, and exhale to release. Let's do that a couple more times. In a moment, once we've done the full sequence, we're going to do a whole round on our own, doing 3 of each of these. But don't worry, you haven't got to remember it. I'll give you a little cue when roughly we're all getting to the same bit. Fantastic. So the easiest way to get to the other side is just turn yourself around. So you swivel on your feet. So you're going to be leading with your left leg. Your hips are turned towards those left set of toes. Your hands are back in your little interlace. So when you feel ready, we're going to inhale, draw the hands up to the crown. As you exhale, bend the front knee and push that breath away at chest height. Inhale as you draw yourself up to the ceiling, reach up to the sky, and as you exhale, separate those arms and create that kind of rainbow around yourself. So inhale again up to the crown. Exhale, bend that front knee and push the breath away. Inhale, and straighten in that front leg, reach up to the sky. Exhale to release. Just once or twice more. Just getting used to that movement, used to that idea. If you forget what you're doing and you find it useful to maybe look at someone else or take a look at the screen, you can do. So upon this completion of this round, you're going to keep the feet a little bit wider, but you're going to turn back so you're facing towards the long edge of your mat. Now, I find for my knees and hips, it's quite useful, rather than having my feet sort of pointing directly out, to turn them slightly outwards. I've turned my feet so they're sort of pointing towards the corners of the mat. Now, this is where we go into a slightly deeper squat. So hands are going to start off in our interlace again. We're going to inhale up to the crown. As we exhale, we're going to bend the knees and bring your hands down close to the earth as you can manage. Inhale, come up to stand by straightening the legs, drawing the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, release the arms and come out. Let's repeat that again. Inhale to the crown. Exhale, bend the knees and drop down towards the earth. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, reaching up to the sky. Exhale to relax. One more time as you inhale. Exhale to the earth. Inhale. And exhale. Fantastic. Just shuffle your feet back in so they're more underneath your hips. And let's just take a moment just to recalibrate, to connect, to observe and to notice. I'm going to suggest bringing your fingertips together, your thumb tips together. Bring your elbows so they're lightly round the lower part of your rib cage. So this is called Hakini Mudra. Close your eyes, stand tall from the feet up to the crown. If closing your eyes doesn't feel right, keep them open. I want you to just take a moment just to connect with what your intentions may be for this practice today. Or what are your reasons for coming here today? And what the sort of logical reasons are for you being here. But also being open to possibility, to things that we wasn't expecting. Creating a little space for possibility within ourselves. So Hakini Mudra is a mudra that's really useful to help with grounding, with stability, with strength. It's one I use a lot when I'm feeling a little bit weak or kind of need some of that sort of inner strength or inner connection. So when you feel ready, I want you to release the hands for a moment, just stand tall. Just go back in your mind, maybe with the eyes closed or eyes focused, and just remember the arm movements, remember the leg movements that we're going to do. So we're going to do 3 completely static, just lifting the arms up, down, taking them out, releasing them down. So we do 3 of those. We're going to do 3 small squats. Then we're going to turn to the right side. We're going to do 3 on the right. We're going to turn to the left. We're going to do 3 on the left. And then we're going to come back to the center and we're going to do those bigger squats. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So do not worry about having to get it right. Allow this to be your practice, okay? So if you want to do something slightly different, you can. What I'll do is I'll let everyone go at their own speed, but when I'm getting to sort of the third one, I'll just remind everyone where we're going. Okay, so if you go ahead, go ahead. If you know it, you know it. If you want to follow, then you can follow, and I'll just shout out where we are. Okay, so feet at hip distance apart. Relax through the shoulders, standing tall. Just begin to connect with your breath, the coming and the going of your breath. When you feel ready, you're going to bring the hands into your interlace. So you're just touching the fingertips and the thumbs together. Again, just reconnecting with the breath. And when you feel ready, we're going to inhale up to the crown. Going to turn the hands down as you exhale towards the earth. Turn the hands away from you as you inhale, look up and reach up to the sky. And as you exhale, separate the arms and float them down by your side. So twice more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Once more on your own. So the arms stay the same, but we're going to go into a light squat. So inhale to the crown, exhale, bend the knees and gently drop down to the earth. Inhale to the sky, exhale to release. Repeat that twice more. Step the feet slightly wider and we're going to turn ourselves to our right hand side. So we're leading with our right leg. So we're going to inhale to the crown. Exhale, bend our right knee and push the breath away at chest high. Inhale to the sky, straightening that right leg. Exhale to release. Repeat that twice more. We're going to turn all the way around to the left side now. Inhale to the crown. Exhale, bend the left knee, push the breath away. Inhale to the sky. Exhale to release twice more. Notice how the mind might wander. And if it does, bring it back to the breath. Bring it back to the sensations of the movement of your body. Keep the feet that wider gate, but turn to the front. Turn the toes out slightly. Inhale to the crown. Exhale, bend the knees. Go as close to the earth as your body will allow. Inhale to stand. Exhale to release. Twice more. Upon this completion, just shuffle the feet back in. Bring the hands back into Hakini Mudra. Elbows lightly around the lower ribs, relaxing the shoulders. Close the eyes, focus the gaze inwards. Connecting with the come in and the go in of the breath. Observing how you feel energetically. How the body has responded to those movements. How the mind is in this moment. As we've just done that moving meditation for the last 20 minutes or so almost. So when you feel ready, just let the mudra, Hakini Mudra, just fall away. Just standing tall. Maybe just connecting with the breath again. So for those of you that are facing the long edge of your mat, I want you to just turn so you're facing the thin edge of your mat, just because we're going to start to use the length of the mats now. So I'm just going to take my socks off. Just should have done that before. So just making sure there's nothing on your mat at all. And then what I'd like you to do is just drop your chin towards your chest. Begin to let your shoulders roll forwards. And then begin to bring yourself into a forward fold. So you're just going to maybe tuck your fingers under your toes or hold your ankles, hold your shins. Maybe you need to put something in front of you to bring your hand onto, like a bolster or a block. Now, once you've come into this forward fold, I want you to just have a little sway from side to side. So you just sway in your hips gently, bringing your weight more into one foot than the other foot. Maybe more the hips want to do a sort of little circle around, or maybe even like a figure of 8. We're just exploring how that feels, just to be using gravity in this forward fold, just to help to stretch through that lower back region. And then when you feel ready, I want you to let the head completely go. Give the head a little shake. And then let the head be still. And then think about gently rolling yourself up to our standing position again. So you're really taking your time to come up. As you come up, I want you to bring your hands behind you. Options here could be to bring your hands onto your glutes, onto your lower back. Might be to interlace your hands behind your back. But what I want you to do is squeeze your shoulder blades together and look up to the sky. So we're just going to start to lift our chest, lift our gaze, look up towards the ceiling. So we're slightly leaning back, coming into this, what is a gentle back bend, just stretching through the front of your body. Come all the way back to the center. Bring your hands onto the outside of your thighs. Find your right leg. You're going to slip your right hand down your right leg. You're going to take your left arm up and stretch it over, maybe over the crown of your head. Now, if this isn't working for your shoulder today, you could always bring the hand onto the side of your head or keep the hand down by your side. When you feel ready, we're going to lift ourselves up. We're going to swap the arms over. So bring your left hand to your left thigh, bring your right arm up, and then we're going to lean over towards your left hand side. So we're going to inhale as we come to the center. We're going to exhale as we lean over towards that first side, the right side again. Inhale to the center. Exhale, lean to the other side. So I want you to continue to do this for a little bit longer. Just swaying from side to side, waking up those muscles around the rib cage, around the side of the body. So we're going to come into our right side stretch, and we're just going to pause here. I want you to turn your gaze and look up to the ceiling. Taking an in-breath here. And as you exhale, turn your head and look down towards your right foot. Inhale, turn your gaze and look up to the ceiling. Exhale, turn your gaze and look down. One more time as we inhale to look up. Exhale to turn and look down. Brilliant. We're going to swap to the other side. Just taking a moment, just let everything sort of resettle. And then leaning over towards the opposite side. So we're leaning over to our left side. We're going to change the breath pattern, okay? So we're going to look down as we inhale. We're going to look up as we exhale. Sorry to play around with your head. Inhale to look down. Exhale to turn and look up. Couple more times. So this change of kind of what we know is a really useful thing to challenge ourselves, to get used to that uncertainty that we all have in our life. Bring yourself out. We're going to step our feet together now. As we step our feet together, we're going to take our right leg, step it over your left. So what I want you to do is make sure your right knee is quite bent. Because what we're going to imagine is behind us, there's going to be a stool, and we're just going to perch down. Imagine that you're just hovering your bottom just above a stool. Okay, stretch your arms ahead of you. We took the right leg over, so we're going to take the left arm over, cross them at the shoulder, cross them at the elbow, and then you're either going to bring your hands onto your shoulders. Some of you might be able to bring your hands back to back. Some of you might get your palms together. We're going to lift the elbows up, and we're going to sink a little bit lower onto our stool. The reason I said drink was because I was thinking about a bath. Lift the elbows up a bit higher. Drop the bottom a little bit lower. Squeeze those thighs together. If you're feeling really confident today, find your right foot and see if you can lift it off the floor so you're just on your left leg. Remember to breathe. Find something to watch. So look between the arms or look beyond the arms. One more breath in, one more breath out. We're going to release the arms like an eagle. That's where it gets its name from. Reach up to the sky and then gently come off your perch. Well done. Give everything a little shake. Okay. Recenter ourselves. Come back. Feet together, thighs together. You're going to step your left leg over your right. Squeeze those thighs together and then sink down into your seat a little bit. Stretch your arms ahead of you. Right elbow is going to come on top of your left this time. I did forget to say, if you're really wobbly, you can lean against the wall or put a chair in front of you. Okay, so cross the arms, bring them onto shoulders, back to back, palms together. Lift the elbows higher, drop your chin down a touch, sink into your seat a little bit lower. Keep squeezing those inner thighs together. Find your breath, focus your gaze. If you want to, see if you can lift your left toes off of the mat, so you're just balancing on that right foot. One more breath. When you feel ready like an eagle, then spread your wings as wide as you can and come back to 2 feet again. Brilliant. Give everything a little shake. Okay, we're going to come to the back end of our mats. As we come to the back end of our mat, feet roughly hip distance apart, we're going to drop the chin down again, roll ourselves forward, so very similar to what we did before, but we're going to start to lean into our hands a little bit and start to walk ourselves forward. So we're going to come into downward dog position. So you want your wrists, so they're roughly shoulder distance apart. Look back to your feet. Your feet want to be roughly hip distance apart. If you're struggling holding or maintaining downward dog, You can always come onto your knees instead and do a few cat and cow movements here instead. So I want you to just use this opportunity to push the floor away with your hands and with your feet. Think about drawing your navel lightly towards the back of your body and push your hips away from the floor by the apex that you're making with your body. Relax your head again. Remember last time we had a little shake of our head? Let's do a little yes and no with our head instead. See how that feels in downward dog. Brilliant. And then we're going to come onto our knees. As we come down onto your knees, I want you to see how it feels to now reverse your bottom back towards your heels. Now, if you need to put something to support your head, to support your body, you can put a bolster underneath. If stretching your arms ahead maybe stretches your body too much, you could bring your arms by the sides of your head instead, or even tuck the hands back or slide them back behind you so your palms are facing upwards. If you need to support your head, another thing you can do is just cross your forearms and bring your head onto your forearms. Thighs can be wider, so big toes together, thighs can be wide. Can also be a nice another option. Okay, so from our child's pose, we're going to lift ourselves back up to full-point kneeling. And we're going to come into a position which is called puppy dog pose. So this is going to be a useful stretch for your mid and your upper back. So what I'd like you to do is walk your hands forwards further. So if you're at the sort of top end of your mat, you might want to walk back a little bit. And then what we try to do is keep the bottom up, but drop the head and the chest towards the floor. So you'll start to feel this as a bit of a stretch through the shoulder blades, through the upper part of the back. You might also find, depending on how you've placed your head or what you've placed your head upon, you might slightly stretch through the chest area as well. You should feel this around the sort of mid-rib area and that shoulder blade area, the armpit area. So sometimes this is also called the melting heart position. I would suggest put a bolster in front of you, Vicky. So you bring the floor up to you rather than trying to get to the floor. I think spin it that way, spin it long ways. Yeah, and then see how it feels to just. No, elbows should be off the floor if possible. Does that take a bit of pressure off? Yeah, good. So when you feel ready, what I would like you to do, if it feels okay, is come forwards and come and lie upon your front. Cross your forearms, bring your forehead onto your forearms. Yeah, spin it so it's long way. So, yeah, and then come onto it, Tim. So you might find it doesn't stretch through the ribs quite so much. Does that feel okay? Yeah, good. So you're going to stay there, Tim. So this is called crocodile pose. I just showed Tim a variation just for those that are watching the recording as well. So we put the bolster in front just so it would take a little bit of pressure off of the rib cage. So this can be a nice way to come into a variation of crocodile, just taking some pressure off the back of the ribs. So you could just stay in crocodile. This is a back bend, which is really effective to help just gently release tightness or tension out of the lower back. For some of you that maybe want to do something a little bit more active in your back bend, I'm going to show you a little sequence that we're going to do. So we're going to we're going to slide our hands either sides of our chest and bring our foreheads onto the floor now. So then what we're going to do is lift chest, shoulders, head and hands, and you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together and float your hands off of the floor. And then when you feel ready, as you exhale, you're going to bring the forehead and the hands back onto the floor again. So it's a very gentle lifting up, squeezing as you inhale, and then lowering down with hands and forehead as you exhale. So this will really help to start to strengthen the muscles around the glutes, around the lower back area. That's it. Really tight, yeah. So come into crocodile, give it a break rather than doing repetitive. I can't say my words today. Yeah, give it a little break. So if you want, what you could do is when you lift up into that back bend, you might even want to stay here for a couple of breaths. So by staying, we're having to keep engaging through the shoulder blades, in the glutes, in the lower back region. And when you feel fatigued or you feel like you've had enough, we're going to come back down to the earth again. So this is a really useful thing because it helps us to strengthen that lower back area. Because when we tend to come into back bends in particularly a yoga practice, you tend to see people sort of doing this Sphinx type position. And as soon as you bring the arms into play, the back isn't working then. So it's about kind of finding that sort of little bit of resistance with the arms, but using the lower back to do the lifting and do the lowering. So you might want to bring your hands down now and see how much you can lift up without the arms and the hands getting too involved. It isn't very far, is it? At all. Come down, have a little break, take in all that information, then you might want to do it one more time. Just see how that feels, maybe to utilize the arms, utilize the hands. Brilliant. And then come down, come back into crocodile, everybody, for a moment, just to take a few breaths. I want you to just think about how we were working with that earth sequence a little bit earlier. You know, we were getting those lovely long breaths in, long breaths out. I want you to maybe just go back to the feeling of what that felt like with the breath. Maybe you might imagine kind of going through that sequence in your mind. So the movement of the arms and the connection with your breath. But we've come into this crocodile because it's kind of going to become a bit of a segue into one more posture and then a relaxation and breathing practice that we're going to do. So crocodile is an amazing position which helps to calm our nervous systems down. And as you get used to being here, you'll probably notice the breath starts to just kind of free itself out. So when you're ready, what I want you to do is just push yourself back into your child's pose, just to help to counter pose. Again, if you found it useful, maybe using the bolster, you could bring the bolster with you and pop it between your thighs and give yourself something to rest your head upon. That's really important because we've been in that back bend for a little while and we've done that breathing practice for a few moments, just to come back and counter pose. So take the back in the opposite way to the way that it would normally or has been for that period of time. So what I'd like you to do is firstly, lift yourself up. If you want to put on any additional layers, now would be a really good time, and get all of your stuff kind of ready for relaxation. Get it close by, have it near you. We're going to do a reclining twist, so a twist that is going to be on the floor, essentially. So once you've got yourself covered up, once you've got yourself with the bits that you're going to need to help you relax, we're going to lie upon our back. Knees are going to be bent, feet upon the floor. So we're in a semi-supine position. So I'm going to suggest, particularly if you're maybe struggling a bit with your back today, ribs today, shoulders today, you might want to take your bolster and you might want to pop it over on your left-hand side. So what we're doing is essentially bringing the floor up to you. So we're going to stretch our left leg along the mat so the left leg is flat upon the floor. Then we're going to, with our bent right leg, we're going to place our right foot upon our left thigh, so the top of our thigh. And then we're going to use our left hand, bring it onto our right knee. You're going to roll yourself onto your left hip, and you're going to bring that right knee over either onto the bolster or onto the floor. We're going to turn our gaze and look in the opposite direction. So we're going to look in the right direction and stretch our right arm out to the side, or you might want to take it up a little bit higher, more over the crown of the head. But essentially what we're doing here is we're twisting through the lower part of our torso, twisting through our lower and mid part of our back, the right side of our rib cage and the right side of our pelvis and hip joint are having this lovely stretch. And we've got this sort of diagonal action happening across the body. So what can be quite a nice thing to do is just keep that connection between the left hand and the right leg. You might actually want to, for some people, just sort of let it go and just let the body just sort of drift and start to sort of fall towards the floor a little bit more. Some of you might find it really useful to really rely on that support underneath the leg. That's just taking the pressure off. So by being in this position, we've quite slightly sort of twisted our lung cavity. So you might notice it feeling a bit easier to breathe into the right-hand side of your lungs and the left-hand side of your lungs. So maybe just notice where you've got a slight compression on the left side, where you're a bit more spacious through the right side, how that may feel. So if you've turned your head, I want you to bring it back to the center point. And then what I'd like you to do is slide your right leg along towards the foot of your left leg. So you're just straightening both of the legs, and then you're gently going to roll back onto your back again. So here, what you might want to do is hug your knees up into your body. You might want to have a little rock. You might find a full body stretch feels a more appropriate thing to do. And then what I'd like you to do, if it feels okay, is bring the bolster onto your right-hand side. You're going to straighten through your right leg. So you're bringing that right leg along the floor towards the far end of the mat. And then you're going to place your left foot upon your right thigh. You're then going to reach over using your right hand to your left knee, roll onto that right side of the body, so onto that right hip, and either bringing the leg over onto the bolster or towards the floor. Head is going to turn potentially in the opposite way to the legs. And then you could stretch your left arm out to the side. You might want to take it over the ground. So I guess as he feels how we're leaning more into that right side than the left side. So you'll probably feel the left side a little bit easier to breathe into, might be a little bit more spacious or feel a little bit more open. Just calming the breath down, going back to those gentle, easy breaths. And when you feel ready, turn the head back to the center. Gently begin to slide that left leg along that right leg and just gently rolling yourself out. Again, this option to hug yourself in, to elongate the body, to maybe reach the arms up to the ceiling. You might want to stretch your legs up to the ceiling, just kind of just feeling into what feels good and right for you at this time. So I want you to start to think about preparing yourself ready for relaxation. And what I'm going to suggest is you need to be in a position where you can be still for about 15 minutes. So I want you to make sure, one, you're going to be warm enough. If you would prefer to sit rather than lie, know that that option is available to you. If you want to put things underneath you, around you, if you want some extra blankets, there's a few extra ones dotted around. I can get some more out the cupboard. If you're at home, you might want to lie on a bed rather than the floor. You might want to sit in a chair rather than reclining. So be wherever you feel comfortable. Also, if you need to, adjust in the environment around you. If you need to switch lights on or off, or turn heating up or down, or switch your phone off. Tell everyone, 15 minutes of quietness. Making sure your environment is managed in a way that feels or gives you the best chance to be able to relax. My latest one is switching off the Ring doorbell. Oh my gosh. That goes off. There's a luxury to do that. I want you to just begin to let the body start to settle. And as the body begins to settle, just acknowledging how you've got this sense of all of the different things that are around you supporting you. So it might be the floor, it might be the mat, it might be bolsters, blankets, your clothing. It could be the idea of this practice supporting you. I'd like you to turn your attention to your breath. Breathe in through the nose and audibly breathe out through the mouth with a sigh, a yawn, a release. And I want you to just repeat that a few times. Just allowing the exhalation to just let go of any excess energy or any built up tension that we might be still experiencing in our bodies, in our minds, or even around us. Then allow your breathing to return back to its natural pattern. So it could be in and out through the nose, through the mouth, combination of both of those. But just a natural breath. The next part of our practice involves a rotation of your awareness, just an opportunity for our mind to have something to follow, and it can help to just settle the mind a little bit more. So for some of you, you might follow this quite religiously. Some of you might follow it kind of in and out. Some of you might choose to just be aware of sensations that you're feeling in different parts of the body. So again, it's optional what feels right to you, but you'll know as soon as you start. So we're going to start off our practice with just an awareness of the back of your head. So just be aware of the back of the head. And then be aware of the top of your head. Then an awareness of your forehead. Being aware of both of your eyes, both your ears, both cheeks, your nose and your nostrils. Being aware of your mouth, your tongue, the throat. Being aware of the slopes of your shoulders, of your upper arms, of your elbow joints, of your lower arms, and awareness of your wrists, the palms of the hands, the backs of the hands, and awareness of your thumbs and all of your fingers. And transferring your attention from the thumb and fingertips back up to the slopes of your shoulders. An awareness of the front of your chest, of your under armpits, of your shoulder blades, and the upper part of your back. An awareness of the back of your ribs, the sides of the ribs, the fronts of your ribs. An awareness of your upper abdomen, your navel region, your lower abdomen. An awareness of both sides of your waist, your lower back, of your tailbone, an awareness of both of your hips, an awareness of your pelvis, of your buttocks, an awareness of both of your thighs, of both of your knees, of the shins and the calves, of the heels, the ankles, an awareness of the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, of all of the toes. An awareness of the whole of your body, of the whole of your body, the whole of your body in this moment. I want you to bring your attention to the soles of the feet and the tops of your head. And taking your mind back to the earth sequence. So without the need to move our arms, we're just going to think about the breath and visualize the breath moving from point to point up and down the body. So we're going to start off with our awareness at the soles of the feet. And as you inhale, inhale to the crown of your head. As you exhale, exhale from the crown of your head all the way back down the feet to the soles of the feet. So you inhale from the feet to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the feet. Inhale from the feet to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the feet. Inhale from the feet to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the feet. Inhale from the feet to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the feet. Inhale from the feet to the crown. And then we change where we're exhaling to the knee joints. So exhale to your knee joint. Inhale from the knees to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the knee. Inhale from the knees to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the knee. Inhale from the knees to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the knee. Inhale from the knees to the crown. Exhale from the crown to the pelvis. Inhale pelvis to crown. Exhale crown to 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 chest center. Inhale chest center to crown. Exhale crown to chest center. Inhale chest center to crown. Exhale crown to chest center. Inhale chest center to crown. Exhale crown to chest center. Inhale chest center to crown. Exhale crown to throat center. Inhale throat center to crown. Exhale crown to throat center. Inhale throat center to crown. Exhale crown to throat center. Inhale throat center to crown. Exhale crown to throat center. Inhale throat center to crown. Exhale crown to throat center. Inhale throat center to crown. Exhale crown to eyebrow center. Inhale eyebrow center to crown. Exhale crown to eyebrow center. Inhale eyebrow center to crown. Exhale crown to eyebrow center. Inhale eyebrow center to crown. Exhale crown to eyebrow center. Inhale eyebrow center to crown. Exhale crown to eyebrow. Inhale, eyebrow center to crown. Exhale, crown to eyebrow. So just allow your breath once more to just find its natural path. And allow yourself these few moments to rest. So as you begin to feel like you're ready, maybe just begin to allow your breath to become a little bit deeper. And as you breathe in that slightly deeper or different way to the way that you've been breathing, just begin to slowly let a little bit of movement back into the body, whatever way feels right to you. Stretching, yawning, sighing. If you have been lying on your back, I'm going to suggest just roll onto one side, just to allow you to just have a few moments where you can be in that halfway point. And there being no rush to get there, but when you feel ready, I want you to bring yourself up into a seat that feels comfortable for you. If you've been sitting and you want to adjust your seat, that can also be a useful thing to do. Maybe you can sit in a certain way. So it doesn't really matter how you sit as long as you sit upright. So you might want to use a wall or a chair or something. So we used Hakini Mudra at the start of our practice, touching our fingertips together and our thumb tips together. And I'd invite you to come back into using Hakini Mudra again. So as you've created that shape with your hands. It's almost like a sort of little sort of diamond or triangular shape, almost pyramid sort of shape. What can happen sometimes is we can sort of hunch our shoulders up a little bit. So I want you to just think about relaxing through your shoulders. Imagine Hakini Mudra, and the opening of the fingers represents the opening of our lungs as well. So kind of creating this sense of space within ourselves. And the subtle energetic representation of Hakini Mudra is said to be one of strength, of balance, of stability, of finding equilibrium within all the different imbalances that we may have in our lives. I'd like you to just take a moment here just to allow yourself to maybe recognize again what those logical things were that you were coming for your practice today. But also those unexpected things that you might have thought about, that you might have felt, that you might have been reminded of. Those windows into those parts of ourselves sometimes that we can feel a little bit shut down or locked away. And allowing ourselves to connect with that sense of freedom and creativity within us. Ultimately, the practice of yoga is one about freeing ourselves from the restraints that we put upon ourselves or that have been put upon us. And your yoga practice and your mat can be a really useful way to just explore some of those things, some of those ideas. So as we always do in this practice, we're going to close with 3 Oms and 3 Shantis. Om being the universal sound of creativity and creation and freedom within ourselves. Shanti meaning peace. So we're going to bring our hands together in our Manjali Mudra. So you're just pushing your left and your right palms together. And an option here, if you want to listen, you can listen. If you want to join in with the chants, you can do. Let's take a collective breath all together. And a collective breath out. A breath in, ready to chant or listen. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Recognizing the care and the attention that you've shown to yourself today. Recognizing the care and the attention that we've shown to each other. And a recognition that this care and attention can be took into all parts of our lives if we choose. So Om Shanti. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Nice to be here with you all. Yeah, as I was saying, next week we're going to kind of layer up on that practice a little bit more. So there's another level or another 2 levels that we'll go to, not so much with the asana, the physical part, but the meditation and the breathing part. So there's 2 extra layers that we'll do over the next 2 weeks. So you've got a complete kind of package to take away with you or watch on video if you're not around. So thank you everybody for your time. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to ask. Check in with everyone online.
Thank you, Daniel. Have a good weekend.
You are very welcome. Thank you.